Do I wear this shirt on purpose? Take a guess. Hello, my bookish friends. Welcome to my channel, Dancing by My Shelf. I'm Bianca and I'm from Germany, and I want to talk to you about my currently reading week, which was a bit of a mess and a mixed bag because I got sick and, well, it doesn't went very well. I wanted to film this video on Friday and have a Friday read, but that didn't happen, and I wanted to make the video on Sunday, which even didn't happen. Now it's Tuesday, and here we are. So let's talk about the books I'm reading. I'm still reading God Killer by Hannah Kenner, and I'm just nearly halfway through it. And yes, it's still an entertaining story, and it's colorful. I really enjoy the story. It's quite dark. It has a quite fast pace, and the characters, in my opinion, are well built, and it's a really interesting story in the way Kenna uses the world and the political situation and how she involves uh, all of these different gods. She involves different kinds of disabilities in her story, and in a very good way. And you don't get things like this very often, and so I'm just really interested how this is going. Next, I finished a book. Yes, sometimes this happens. It's The Ill-Made Night, written by Christian Cameron, and I really liked it. I think this is not an easy read for historical fiction. It's because it's a military historical fiction. You have a lot of fighting, a lot of marching and fighting again and marching again, overtaking a brothel and marching and fighting. You have some political things, but you all watch this from the view of William Gold. And like I said in one of my last videos, we follow William Gold, who, after some dramatical events in the beginning, is forced to join the army as a cook's boy when he's 13 years old. We follow his way through the war in France, which is a very, very chaotic time because all these different political powers and interests and always changing sides and burning towns and villages. It's a confusing time, and it's, if you are not used to read this kind of book, especially not only historical fiction but military historical fiction, it can be a really, really hard read. I won't recommend this book to every reader, but if you are used to read this and if you like the history, then this is definitely the right book for you, because you get so much details about armors and weapons and military tactics and all the things behind that, the confusion of a battle. The story is based really heavily on all of these details. Maybe it's a bit difficult to stay focused because there's so much fighting, and maybe you may think on one time, what? Next battle? But it's easy to lose the focus on the nuances, what happens to the character and what he becomes in the end. But if you like this kind of stuff, you will really love this book. I really love this book. I love the story, and William Gold, this little rascal. There are a few more books to go, and in a few weeks the last part will be published, Captain of Venice, and I'm really looking forward to this. William tries to make his way to become a knight because this is something he really believes in. And it's not just a title, it's not about money for him. Being a knight is something much higher for him. And he tries to stay true to some of these rules you have to follow if you want to be a knight. And that's not easy, between all this fighting and marching and some intrigues and rivalries of higher ranked people. And I'm really interested to see how things are going for him. And well, for this book, we stayed in France mostly. And in the next book, we will travel to Italy. Well, like I said, I got sick over the week, and over a few days I wasn't even able to read that much, so I changed to audiobooks, and I listened to 2 of them. I needed something more light-hearted, easy to follow, and stories that didn't take much brain capacity, which I didn't had at that time. So I decided to listen to some fantasy, especially some gay fantasy. And Prince of Flowers, Prince of Leaves by Nasri Noor. I will try to insert photos of the covers. We will see how this works. And yes, it's the story of Lachlan Wild, who is a magician, a summoner. It's some kind of a urban fantasy, but you don't have much scenery about this. And he's in a really desperate situation, and so he wants to summon a higher spirit in the hope this would help him, and accidentally he calls a fairy prince who, tragic, loses his shirt on the way through this portal. we discussed this issue in the Discord group of Criminoli, and it's really dramatic how often things like this happens. And yes, someone should look after this. If this is a technical issue when you move through a portal, or if it's some kind of a medical issue like an allergy, we don't know, but I hope there will be a solution for this problem soon. Anyway, the story is about Lachlan Wild. Like I said, he summoned this prince, and yes, it's a fun story. It's something really light-hearted, an adventure. You have to solve some mysteries and go on some missions to find something or to catch something, and of course they both fall in love. That's what stories of this kind are for. It was very entertaining and easy to listen. I had a lot of fun, and yes, there's a part 3, and surely I will listen to it too soon. At last I started reading Of Blood and Fire by Ryan Cahill on my Kindle. I have the whole series as an ebook, and it's like always the same with ebooks. I buy them and I forget about them because I don't have them on my shelf. They are all stuffed in here. You don't see it, it's out of your mind. But when I lately just took a look at my Kindle just to see what's on there, because I really can't remember what of the hundreds of books are just staying there unread. And I started reading it, and I have a really good time with it. The main character is Kalen, who lives in a small village, and he's companioned by his two best friends, Dan and Rist. And it's a quiet, fast-paced story, and it's the first quarter. It's very dramatic. There is so much happening, and I really like the writing style. Some readers might say there are a lot of tropes in the story, and yes, but that's fine. I'm fine with it. Because it's not about if you use tropes to build your setting or your characters, it's about how you use it. You get an insight in the normal life for Kalen and his friends, and some rituals in this area. You can see the growth of the characters. Even after a short time, you can see the changes in their behavior and in the way they are. Just to the characters, I really liked them, and it's quite easy to like these boys. We have Kalen, who's, like, as far as I'm in, seems to be the chosen one farm boy, but he's completely capable to take care of himself. He gets things done, and that's a point I really like. And you have the more silent Rist. who's a bit more by himself. And we have Dan, who is a bit more of a jester. He's in first place a hunter and an archer, and he's the kind of guy who befriends a whole town when he's drunk. There was some really funny situation, and Dan is like, meet my new friends, and Kaylin is like, oh, not again. And it's really it's exciting. It's sometimes really just some way of creepy, and it's funny. You have funny dialogues, and I really love the story. And yes, I'm over the half into it, and I really love it. I stumbled on Twitter. I don't use Twitter very often. I have an account for 10 years, and I'm just visiting it sporadically. I did it one evening when I was bored, and the first posting I saw was by The Broken Binding. They have a special edition. And it looks gorgeous, like always. The books that are made by Broken Binding are always amazing editions. And yes, I looked at it, at this amazing dust jacket, at the naked cover, which is just blackety black, with gold foiled scaly kind of print, and there are maps inside and illustration, and it's gorgeous. And well, anyway, while I'm reading this, I'm waiting for my packet from The Broken Binding. I'm not sorry for this. And yes, of Blood of Fire, Ryan Cahill, my God. I really like it. Might be one of my favorite reads of the year. We will see how things go on. I think it's enough for this video for today, seeing me struggle with the English language. And if you have read one of these books, or if you want to read one of these books, or if you want to tell me what you read this last week, just feel free, leave me a comment, and maybe like this video, or even subscribe, as you like. I hope you have a great reading week and a really good time. We will see us again, I hope, in the nearer future. So long. Bye bye.